Hey guys, Jordan here. In this video, I want to walk you through how we made this logo for Club Fusion. We're going to go through all the steps, and my keyboard clicks will be at the bottom left-hand corner, so you can see everything that I am doing. So first things first, we want to get this in the font that we're going to use. For this, I'm going to be using all round Gothic Demi. I will put a link to that in the description as well. And then we want to get it into the structure that we're going to be using as close as possible. So I'm going to create a line break between those two letters, and I am going to just decrease the line height so this is a little bit closer together. That looks good to me. So from there we're going to right click, create outlines, right click, ungroup, and now we can get started. So this logo, it's really only one main thing. It's connecting this letter U into the letter N. So this is a really good tutorial if you're more of a beginner in connecting different letters together using the pencil tool. So we're going to grab the pencil tool from our sidebar, which is also N on your keyboard. And I am just going to create the general shape here. So I really messed that up, you can see. So I'm just going to do Command Z and try again. When you're working with the pencil tool, it's a form of illustration, so it's never going to be 100% the same. But I'm just kind of eyeballing it like that. That is pretty close. So then I'm going to go Properties, Stroke. I'm going to increase the stroke, and my goal is to have the stroke be about the same width as the letters. So I'm zooming in here and kind of seeing when it gets to that point. That looks pretty good to me. Maybe we can go down one. The exact point of the stroke will depend on what font size you started with. So just kind of eyeball it. Alright, and you can see that some of this, like the way that it connects to the N, is a little off here. So I'm going to go and press the letter A on my keyboard to be able to control these detail dots here. And I am just going to pull in that curve using that curve tool right there, and straighten that out to better connect to the end so that it's easier to make that connection flow when we convert this to a shape. I would also like this to come out straighter from that U, so I'm going to do the same thing and adjust that a little bit here. We're still in our direct selection tool for this. Those exact edits, of course, are going to depend a little bit on exactly how you drew yours. If you drew it better than me, you might not need to do any of that. Straightening this out shows me that I probably want a little more width on that stroke, so I'm going to go in and just increase it a little bit. That looks good to me. Alright, so once we have this the way we basically want it, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can still see it's sticking out just a little bit, but that's okay. We're just aiming to get it close enough. I'm going to have my line selected and go Object, Path, Outline, Stroke. That's going to turn it from a stroke into a fill. And then I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to go in, start with the N, select both the N and our new shape there, and go Properties, Pathfinder, Unite. And then we're going to smooth this out. So this is going to depend the exact way that yours fit together or that you drew it. But you can see from what I'm going to do, the basic steps of it. I'm going to go in with my minus tool. So I'm clicking the minus key on my keyboard. And I'm going to go in and just minus out any extruding points that are really jagged to create something that looks like this. Now it's not completely smooth, but it's smooth enough to go in with our smooth tool. And I'm just going to see if that smooth tool can get us the rest of the way there. And that looks looks pretty good to me. The U is a lot easier because you can't see any of this. There's no potential jagged points. So we don't really need to do any adjustment there, but you can see now this line goes completely smoothly into that letter N, and because this font is very minimal, it really emphasizes almost the abstract shape-like look of the N, as if the N is just a continuation of that line, because we made sure to get the widths lined up and all of that. So it's looking extremely smooth. That is really the only big edit that we did here. The other thing is just, I'm going to connect this shape now, holding down Shift, grabbing my U. I'm just going to make sure that the Pathfinder, that is united there. So now this is its own unit. And when we did this brand, we actually used that to be able to bring it out, and we made a pattern out of this shape. We used it in other forms of the logo, so it can be useful if you see this part of a logo that's all connected, to bring that out and kind of make a note of it for later use if you want to. The other thing that we did with this logo that I think is important, that may not seem as important, is isolating the color of this shape. So for us, within the brand colors, this is one example of how we did this, but depending on the background, the colors might be different. But for this brand, we always are changing the color of this shape to emphasize it and bring it out and make it look even more kind of abstract and like a shape that is just added in, rather than built within the words. So I personally think that adds a lot to the final look, although of course the black and white is something that we would give the client as well. But I just make that note to say that if you're ever looking at a logo and you're feeling like there's just a little something missing, if it's a colorful, playful, personality-filled brand, something to check is there a way to incorporate 2 brand colors into the look rather than just one? Sometimes it can add a lot. You can see if I just did one here, it's nice, but it's just a totally different look. It really removes a layer of depth than having 2. So I just wanted to mention that, because I know that for me, sometimes I've been looking at a logo and just thinking, this is just not quite the personality level that I want it to be at for the brand, and sometimes making sure you have a way to put 2 colors into the logo is a good way of fixing that. Alright, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any logo requests that you would like to see how we did, definitely feel free to leave a comment on that too. And I will put a link to the font that we used in the description as well.